Y'all know what it is. Jay Williams, Let's Live Life. And we're back. So before we get into things today, before I even drop the intro, let me get a couple things straight. Let me get some things clear for y'all. Because I get some comments sometimes to get up underneath my skin. Try not to let it, but every now and then want to, scratch the surface just a little bit. So I'm going to make something clear. I do not proclaim to be a tough guy. I've dealt with some tough things. I've ran headfirst into some situations. I've had my ass beat. I've lost fights. I've won fights. I've come to draws. I am human. I'm not running around this bitch like I'm the hardest thing since a diamond was created. I'm just a man. And when I tell y'all these stories, a lot of time you'll hear the vulgar language, the stuff I was saying at that moment. That's me taking y'all back to that moment. Like with the story with the woman being thrown off the tier and me and Angry Man fighting and the things I said to Angry Man. That's how I felt at that moment. That's what I said at that moment. That's not how I carry myself today. Just so we have that clear. That was Jay Williams 1188376/357017, the convict. This is Jay Williams, Let's Live Life. Jay Williams, the father. Jay Williams and his main man, Max. You see in the background? You see them guys over there working? This is Jay Williams, the boss. So before anybody wants to jump in the comment section, I don't think you got hands like that. First of all, you don't know me. And second of all, you ain't even got a profile picture. So shut up. Keep it moving. How you gonna watch my video and then run your mouth about something? Y'all people kill me, man. But for all my loyal ones, the real ones, and there are some real ones watching, because y'all watching me, man, I salute y'all. Y'all ask how y'all can help the channel? Smash the trolls, man. Watch the ads, little things like that. That stuff goes a long way. So let's go ahead and get into today's video now that we have gotten the elephant out the room. We've cleared the air. We've made everything what it should be. Most feared gang in prison. Y'all ain't gonna believe it. Let's relive it. So I don't care what prison you're in. I don't care where you get locked up. I don't care where you're doing your time, what state, what country. None of that matters. One thing for certain, there's going to be gangs. And in most situations, they are going to run the prison when it comes to the inmate convict population. Here on the East Coast, here in Virginia, it's no exception. Bloods, Latin Kings, GDs, BGDs, Crips, Serenos, Norteños, MS-13s. And then you got all your spinoffs. You got your Aryan Brotherhood, your DMIs. You got all these gangs. And they've got numbers. Then you've got dudes like me and a lot of other dudes that just rock with everybody. In Florida, they call it a neutron. Other states, they call it a lone wolf. Nah, I was none of that. I was just Jay. I was respected by everybody. I kicked it with everybody. You might see me talking to a pile of Bloods. You might see me talking to a pile of Crips. But I'm going to tell y'all the one gang, and these are the facts, that out of all my years in doing time, I saw that was feared the most, that had the least amount of encounters with other gangs and guards, and that was the MS-13s. Nobody wanted to wreck with any of them MS-13 dudes. And there's a reason behind that. Because they're not about to ball their fist up and punch you all in your face or have you get off on one of them and knock one of them out and make their organization look bad. No, sir. They're pushing that blade, and it's a blade-only policy. Knives only. That's it. No hands. I've seen so many situations where something this small turned into something so big, so quick. I remember a dude named Angel showing up there, man. And he was a Spanish dude. Immediately, my homeboy Diablo, shout out Diablo, shout out Termite, shout out Chop. These dudes push up on him. What you claiming, fool? You know what I mean? Like, you're Spanish, you know what I mean? What are you with? He's like, I ain't with nothing, man. I don't bang nothing. I said, no, whatever. They do this in front of everybody. Check this dude in front of everybody. And that was rare because usually they would pull somebody to the side so that if they did have something they had to get off their chest, they could do it without everybody seeing it. But they did this in front of everybody. They checked this dude. I would go on to tattoo this dude one day, and he says, look, I want the Mother Mary tattooed down my arm. I said, all right. So I draw up the pattern. I don't realize that what I'm doing is a cover-up. This dude is a Sereno, like he's got it tattooed long ways down his arm. And he wants me to try to take this Mother Mary and cover it. So I'm telling him, I'm like, yo, I think that Mother Mary tattoo has some type of, gang meaning in the Spanish gangs. And he's like, no, we're good. And I'm like, yo, do they know you're Sereno? And he's like, nah, that's why I got to cover this up. He would never wear short sleeve shirts. You would never catch him in a white tee. He always had on the state blue long sleeve shirt to cover his tattoos. So I did the tattoo, covered it up. It just goes to show you that right there. He already knew that if he was exposed and it came out what he was, that he might not be getting that tattoo covered. They might be cutting it off of him. Or worse yet, they might be cutting his throat. My homeboy Termite and Diablo, they were arrested here in Richmond because they abducted another gang member and chopped his hands off. Rode around with him in a van and had chopped his hands off. Right in the van, they took a machete and whacked this dude's hands off inside the van with the machete. Then they ended up throwing him out at the Richmond Library with no hands tied up. I asked him, did he get his hands sewed back on? They said, sew his hands back on? Fuck no, we kept them as trophies. That's a whole different caliber of savage. You got dudes running around out here shooting at each other, accidental murderers. You know what I mean? You shoot at a crowd of people and accidentally kill 3 people, didn't even hit none of your targets. Accidental killers. Fisher Price killers, play pretend killers. You know what I mean? Dudes that was just out there trying to show off for the homeboys, hit the wrong ones. These weren't these type of dudes. These dudes would find their mark and they'd make an example out of them. If they didn't kill you, they would leave you disfigured to the point that for the rest of your life, not only would you be traumatized, but you would never be the man or person you used to be. You wouldn't even be able to function. Imagine waking up tomorrow, both your hands been chopped off, and this is what you got. Try to roll a blunt with these. Try to fight with these. That's exactly what they did to this dude, man. I seen a situation on the yard. And like I told you, the other gangs did not fuck with them. They didn't go against them. They didn't start no drama. If something popped off, usually immediately it was apologies, copping pleas, copping deuces, whatever you want to call it. But I remember they were playing soccer, and the only time they really integrated with other races like that on a personal level is when they played soccer, and that's because sometimes they didn't have enough numbers. You know what I mean? A lot of Spanish dudes were older. You had a lot of young dudes, but everybody ain't trying to go out there in the middle of wintertime and kick that hard-ass soccer ball that's covered in frost. Well, you got some black dudes that'll play soccer with the MS-13s, and they got an old man out there named Pops. Pops was nice with the soccer ball. When I mean nice, like to be old, that man would juke the hell out you. They knew if they could get the ball to Pops, even though he was slow, his footwork was so nice, it was kind of like watching Allen Iverson back in the day snapping people's ankles when he had the basketball. That was Pops with a soccer ball. This dude named Shakur goes out there. Shakur is a tall-ass black dude. And they called it Shakur because he looked like Tupac Shakur in the face, except Shakur was tall, maybe 6'1", 6'2". Good sized dude, not big, but just tall, and his frame just fit. They're playing soccer. They're going at it, back and forth down the field. And Pops has got the ball, and Shakur runs up and kicks. And when he does, he kicks Pops right in the shin. Talking about bust Pops' shin wide open, full kick. Boom! Pops grabs his shin, runs up on him, and just starts kicking him. Kicking him in his shins. And Shakur's backing up with his hands put up. And all of a sudden, this is how these dudes move. You see all of them run to different spots of the yard. And what they're doing is they're digging up their knives. In prison, one of our favorite things to do, one of the safest things to do is to have a knife somewhere inside the building. So if something goes off, you can get to it. And at all points in times, have one buried on the yard. Know where it's at. Count your fence post. Put a marker. You know where your knife is. You see all these MS-13 dudes rush. Get their knives. Next thing you know, you got Shakur running. And when I mean running for dear life, screaming for the guard to pop the gate. And there's a whole pile of MS-13 dudes chasing him down with knives in their hands. They let Shakur do the gate. The MS-13 dudes skirt back off right outside the building where the guard can't see them. And by the time the guards get out there to search everybody, all the knives are gone again. These dudes were serious to the point that you could be a Spanish dude that wasn't MS-13, didn't speak much Spanish, and if you weren't gang affiliated, they would take you up underneath their wing. They looked out for their people. People asked, is it segregated here on the East Coast? Is it segregated in Virginia when it comes to the prison systems? No. But I will say this. Them Spanish dudes look after their own. You're not going to do nothing to no Spanish dude. You're not going to do nothing to none of them dudes unless they're from another set and let the MS-13 sit by and watch. Them old guys, they didn't have to know them. They'd show up at their cell every time commissary came, hey, here, Pops, and throw them some food. If the man was old and in a wheelchair, they'd push him. If he couldn't make his food, they'd make his food. I've seen situations where the old guys had colostomy bags and other MS-13 members would come in there and help him fix his stuff, clean his stuff up. That's how it should be, but that's not how it is. Major shout out to them dudes, man. Everybody, from what you hear in the news, they're like, oh, them dudes are crazy, they're crazy. I know a lot of them. Large majority of my tattoos were done by Termite and Diablo. And my homeboy Chop. Those dudes showed me love. Anytime I would get into it with somebody, them dudes would come straight. I'm a white dude now, but real recognizes real. And even though they didn't mix with races, it was like every time I would get into it with somebody or get ready to get into it, they would come over there. It's a problem? Is it a problem? Let me know it's a problem. We got a problem? And I'd have to tell them, no problem. Because they want to go get the knife. You're not going to mess with their homeboy. They tattoo me. I tattoo them. We got a mutual friendship and agreement. I come to have a lot of love for them dudes. Most of them dudes have been shipped back to, wherever it is they're from because they come here, commit a crime, and even though they're not a U.S. citizen, they're going to get sentenced as they are. They're going to do time as a U.S. citizen. And then when they're done, ICE picks them up and they get deported by the La Migra back to wherever it is they came from. I know Diablo and Termite aren't going nowhere for a long time. They chopped somebody's hands off. Chop, I'm pretty sure, got deported back. Because Chop was telling me, he was like, it's bad when I get deported back, man. Because where they're sending me, he's like, the place I'm going to end up at is mostly Serenos and Norteños. He's like, the MS-13 numbers aren't strong. He's like, so one of two things is going to happen when I get back. I'm either going to get released pretty soon or I'm going to get killed, man. He was like, in there, it's not like here. He was like, this shit is soft. He was like, back where I'm from, people get killed every day inside the lockup. He was like, so just, say a prayer for me, homeboy. I'm going to hold mine down to the fullest. I just wanted to share that with y'all, man. I just wanted to let y'all know how things really go. And I'm always leave y'all with something positive from the negative. If you're going to find a circle of people to put around yourself, Make sure they're good people. Look out for one another. Love one another. Respect one another. Now, if somebody disrespects you, you already know what it is. You can do like the Bible says and turn the other cheek and let him slap it. Or you can do what society does and handle your business. But at the end of the day, each one needs to reach one, teach one, man. Love thy brother, love thy neighbor. If we all practice that, there'll be a whole lot less death in the world. There'll be a whole lot less dudes in my comment section running their mouth. Look out for your elders, man. And I'm not saying you got to stick to just your race or your people, because I don't believe in that. My wife is Spanish. My son is half Spanish. I'm American Indian and Irish. You know what I mean? Like, my blood roots and my circle itself runs deep. But y'all take care of each other, man. So y'all know what it is, man. I'm just trying to keep y'all entertained. Are you not entertained? Y'all know what it is. Jay Williams, let's live life. And to all my real ones and the awesome real ones watching, because y'all still watching me. Salute.